This is Women Take the Wheel.
Sit down, strap in, and turn on all you got.
Nikki Clark is taking you behind the scenes.
You're ready to win. Let me tell you, these cars, they get up and go pretty good.
Introducing you to women drivers, crew members, and fans of the racing world. Plus, Nikki is bringing you the latest racing news in Indiana and beyond.
We're going to bring it to you from the tower as they get ready to pull into the beams.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
All right, strap yourselves in.
Woo! Getting off the track and in your ears. This is Women Take the Wheel.
Come on, baby.
With your host,
here we go,
Nikki Clark.
Hi, I'm Nikki Clark, your host for Women Take the Wheel, here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And on this episode, we're at the annual PRI show in Indianapolis, broadcasting from their podcast booth in front of a live audience. I have the pleasure of talking with Cindy Sisson from Women in Motorsports North America. I'm in such awe of her career and what she's done to help women in racing all over the world. We talk about her accomplished marketing career in sports, her inspiration behind the Women with Drive, driven by Mobil One Summit, and Cindy tells us one of the most important things you should do to grow your network. Stay tuned.
Looking for ways to save on your energy bills? AES Indiana has you covered. From smart thermostats to home energy assessments, we offer simple solutions to keep your home comfortable and your costs down. AES can help you save money and energy with kits, tips, rebates, and more. Visit aesindiana.com/ways to save to learn more about how we can help you save money. AES Indiana, helping you discover real ways to save.
Audible's Best of 2024 picks are here. Discover the year's top audiobooks, podcasts, and originals in all your favorite genres. From memoirs and sci-fi to mysteries and thrillers, Audible's curated list in every category is the best way to hear 2024's best in audio entertainment. Like a stunning new full-cast production of George Orwell's 1984. Heartfelt memoirs like Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's Lovely One. The year's best fiction, like The Women by Kristen Hanna, and Percival Everett's brilliantly subversive James. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen. Go to audible.com/imagine and discover all the year's best waiting for you.
And welcome to Women Take the Wheel here at the PRI show. We're here, and this is the second year I've got to do this, and I'm so excited because, like I said, I remember I'm like, you guys, we need a podcast booth here. We need to do it live here. And so they did. I'm so excited. I was inviting back, second year, and I have Cindy Sisson with me from Women in Motorsports North America. How you doing?
Good. Honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you so much for coming here. I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous. I'm like, whoa, because she does a lot. You do so much for women in motorsports. And quickly tell me a little bit about what Women in Motorsports North America is.
Yeah, we're a 501c3 that started in April of 2022, co-founded by Beth Peretta in Lynn St. James.
Oh, I love them guys.
And at a high level, we're a community of professionals made up of men and women that advocate for all women in all areas of motorsports, not just drivers, but electricians, mechanics, hospitality, volunteers, you name it.
And that's the thing, because there are so many women positions here. It's not just people are like, oh, drivers. I'm like, no, there's so much that goes into it that everybody has to do behind the scenes. And so you do. And so do you help with people like education? And I saw, do you help with education and jobs and also like that also?
Oh yeah, we're really getting hot in that area. So 2 years ago, we started a program with Bosch called Electrify Your Career in Motorsports. And we hand select tracks, usually around IMSA races. We've done WEC races where we'll bring in 35 gals, usually on an average college age students, and it's a 2-day immersive experience with curriculum, tabletop sessions, and then tours of the track and meeting with race teams and race operations with the hope that they can see it to be it.
Yeah, and it's all about getting that foot in the door also. It's like, because you have to let one person, and this is a great group, because then it's like, well, you connect.
Yeah.
It's all about networking connection.
Yeah.
So I want to go back a little bit, because I know this is your passionate project. What got you into motorsports? I'd love to share people's stories about what got you into motorsports and your love for cars.
Well, I say I was born into it.
Yeah.
My dad
Me
worked
too.
at General Motors for 40 years, and we always had cars. He was always wrenching on cars. Actually, my first car was a 64.5 Mustang, then a 68 Camaro. But the funny joke about all that is, yes, I've been around cars. I love cars, but I know nothing about cars. And one of my favorite stories is I worked for Jack Roush. I actually moved to Mooresville, North Carolina, to start the first ever NASCAR marketing team.
Oh, wow.
And he launched the Roush Mustang at SEMA, and he had the hood up on the Roush Mustang, and these gentlemen came up and they said, well, how big is that engine? And I kept looking at it and I go, I don't know, 3 feet by 4 feet?
That would be me.
Yeah.
That would be me.
I actually put air in my tire for the first time last year.
No.
And it was like, whoa! I could do this on my own, not having my father or my husband or somebody do that. So that was really, really cool experience.
I always tell people I could probably change out a top alcohol dragster engine before I could do my own engine in my car at home. Because you watch it so much, I'm like, okay, I know where the pistons go, I know where the rods go. Okay, I could probably make this work a little bit.
I have no idea. I always say I'm in love with the cars for the people.
Yes, and that's what I love about racing too. And big theme is family. It's always family. Your friends become your family. You have your racing family, and they get you through everything.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit too. You said you worked for Roush and NASCAR. So what are some other jobs that you got along the way to, educate you on motorsports? Because you know everything about it, and honestly, you know everybody. So
I'm known as the super connector.
Yes, you are.
I would say how I hardcore got into motorsports is I was living in Daytona Beach. Mm-hmm. I was the director of marketing and promotions for the Ladies Professional Golf Association.
Oh, wow.
And I met this woman named Lisa Kennedy. And she, you know who Lisa is?
The name sounds familiar. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. She's Lisa France, like Bill France's daughter.
Okay, yes, now I do.
And we became very good friends, and she always invited me to races. But my first race was Daytona 500, 1991. Derek Cope won, and I fell in love.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I like this sport. So in 1991, there's a point of telling you this. I created a summit to change the golf industry, how to treat women in golf.
Yes.
And it was called Summit 91, Economic Value of Women in Golf. And it changed the golf industry tremendously. So I won a huge award. I ended up being recruited by Gatorade. And
Really?
So I'm still today one of only female motorsports marketing managers, but they gave me NASCAR. And a lot of people don't know this, but Gatorade's first sponsorship ever in all sports was right here in Indy.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
See, I learned stuff.
Yeah. And so I went to a lot of the racetracks. We had the Gatorade Circle of Champions. I got to do the pre-race photo with the drivers and present their plaques, and that's really where I fell in love with NASCAR. NASCAR. And then another thing, after Gatorade, I created my own agency, moved back to Florida. It's cute. It's called Cinco, C-Y-N-D-C-O, not Cindy.
Yeah.
Because Cinco, like C-I-N-D-C-O, was a trash compacting company, so we had to change the letter in Cinco. But that year, I started the Kyle Petty Charity Ride Across America, which still exists.
Yes, I know that well, yes.
I put that first ride together in 6 weeks, and I was one of 2 women to ride across the country, and I had never ridden a Harley in my life.
Wow.
The same time, I created the Ray-Ban program in NASCAR. We had every single driver but Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt wearing Ray-Ban sunglasses. Every team got free sunglasses, and the 2 years we did that, we had more measurable media exposure, higher than even the series sponsor, which was Winston at the time.
I'm totally geeking out, nerding out, because I'm a marketing person, motorsports marketing. In your jobs, I'm like, oh, that's my dream job. Oh, that's so cool. some kind of fangirling about this.
That's all good. And that's how I got to be friends with Roush, and then they moved me up there. And that's when sponsorships dollars were just, you just pick up the phone every day.
Yeah.
I got $1 million. And I raised about $60 million in the sports for drivers, tracks, and teams, and ended up being called by an investment banker that wanted to start a new sports marketing agency, and they wanted me to run the motorsports division. But ironically, that agency also owned the U.S. Postal Service cycling team with a rider named Lance Armstrong.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So I managed that and ran the motorsports program at the same time. The first 4 years that he won the Tour de France, I was there, and ran the Nesquik racing program and the Busch Series at the time, and had a lot of fun.
You are the super connector, because I'm like, okay, what haven't you done? I'm like,
I get 9 lives a lot.
But I mean, you cover everything. And I'm not going to ask you then, so I can't ask you what your favorite motorsports is then? Or do you still have a favorite?
I like them all. Everyone has their own unique quality, so there's not one particular. I will tell you my favorite driver of all time.
Okay.
Richard Petty.
Really?
I adore the King. I would do anything for the King. In fact, I was blessed to put together his 80th birthday party at the Peterson Automotive Museum.
Wow.
And every time he sees me, he just gets that big grin and gives me a big old schmacky on the lips. And did you see your lips?
Yeah.
And don't tell anybody that.
No, that's okay.
But I just love Richard Petty.
Oh, I know my friend used to work for him, and I'm like, is he as cool as he seems? He's like, oh yeah, he's as nice and cool as he seems. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He looks exactly the same with his glasses and his hat. People probably don't recognize him without that. He can probably go incognito without that.
I was recently at Bobby Allison's funeral, and he walked in, and it's the first time I've ever seen him without glasses and a hat, and I almost didn't recognize him, but he looks just as good without the hat and glasses as he does with.
And do you have, so I won't ask you to save it serious, but do you have a favorite race too, like one of your most memorable races, like, I'm never going to forget this race?
That's a great question, because when I'm at the race, I'm just chitty-chatting with everybody. I don't sit there and watch the race. I'm out networking and making sure if water bottles are out or whatever there is. So the racing side of it isn't so much my muse, if you will. Being at the race is.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you my favorite race. I was at the IMSA race this year, and I don't even think I saw one lap.
Oh, really?
Well, we had the 35 girls there.
Yeah.
But I'm usually running around putting out fires or having
that's the marketing life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, same thing with, I'm just a personal thing, because I only knew drag racing until I moved to Indianapolis. I'm like, I just don't know drag racing. I'm like, with those cars going in circles. I went to my first Indy 500 addicted.
Oh, that's great.
I am like, I can't get enough of IndyCar now. I'm like, but go to, and I tell my people, if you ever want to go the greatest race ever, to me, is Indy 500. There is nothing like the vibe at that race. And same thing, it's like I'm marketing and doing all this stuff, so I don't, and I'm working, so I don't get to see everything, the race, but then I'm like, just being there and the vibe is amazing.
And when I worked at Gatorade, we used to take all the trainers from all the NFL teams to the Super Bowl and to the Indy 500. So the last time I've been to the Indy 500 was 1992, but I was sitting next to the head trainer of, let's say, the Washington Redskins and New Orleans Saints. I could even say their names, and just being with those gentlemen, that was pretty darn cool.
Now, isn't it cool I find it, to introduce people who don't know racing, to introduce them to racing? That's one of my favorite things.
I'll give you a great story there. I'm falling in love with NHRA.
Yay!
We just came out with a huge research study. You can find it on our social media about gender equity.
Yes.
And it's titled "It's Never Been a Thing."
Yes, my friend Sarah, our common friend Sarah Walker, just sent that to me.
Yeah. So you also might not know that I did the documentary on Shirley Muldowney that's been on YouTube right now. I think we're up to 300,000 views in less than a couple of months. Might be making a movie, and might have had her actress at Dallas this year at Texas Motorsports Flex.
Another one.
Yeah. So we brought her actress and some of the production crew, and on the grid with the start of the race. I think that is an exciting experience to bring people to really understand what those cars are made of. I was at Bristol last year, and that was my first time.
Oh, and that's my favorite tracks.
I have a video of me, and I lost it. I mean, I've never, ever experienced, and I highly recommend, and this is a plug for one of our partners with Women in Motorsports, is Sound Gear. They're here this week, and they have customizable earplugs, but you can dial in, have Bluetooth, and you can plug it into your...
I'm looking them up.
It's a game changer, and they have an app, a free app that you can use to show you how loud it is out there. When you're at an NHRA race, you are damaging your ears.
I talked to my dad.
Yeah, I see so many people out there without any ear protection. They're going to lose their you know what I was just going to say, their ear sight.
Yeah. I knew what you meant.
I'm tired.
Yes, because we're coming up to that too about why you're so tired. But yeah, so you're talking about you're on the line and just how loud it makes you jump.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It makes you. I love it. I actually had a conversation with Tony Stewart. Hey, hi, sir. I actually had a conversation with Tony Stewart. He came by our TV station, and he's done all the motorsports too. He's done NASCAR, but NHRA you have to go to experience.
Yeah,
that's where you get hooked. Yeah. Because the other ones, like I think NASCAR is much better on TV because you can hear stuff. You know what's going on. You have the experts, but NHRA, you were there. And that, like, I'm addicted. I mean, sorry, I love shooting on the starting line.
Yeah.
And I always went with my parents. They had alcohol, and then doing motorsports marketing, shooting top fuel cars from there. And I think, like, the 3 Indies ago, I actually sat in the stands and watched. And I'm like, oh, so that's what this is like, you know?
Especially your larger tracks and your road courses, you can't see anything. So it is a good television experience.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, NASCAR, you can watch on TV and then go to the race. And it's fun at the race. But I tell you what, NHRA, you go to that race, you get hooked, then you watch it on TV. Because I watch NHRA TV with my friends, and we have little watch parties, but I don't do it a lot because I get so passionate. And so,
you know what my favorite part of watching the NHRA is?
What's that?
Amanda Busick.
I love Amanda.
I have a word for amazing women. It's bichota. Bichota means badass woman.
Oh, I'm using that word.
Yeah. Tatiana Calderon has that on her helmet, and that's how I discovered it. And it's such a fun, festive word.
Yes, I met Amanda when she first started doing the NHRA, and I was doing PR for teams and that too. And I even she used to do the walk 1,000 feet, which we really need to bring back. And I actually helped shoot a couple of those. And the one she did with Matt Hagan, where they're walking down and doing the exercises, that was classic.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has been so great for the sport. I think her profile picture might have been one I took for a while. It was her and Clay Milliken just cheesing. I just love her, so I'll have to see her while she's here. So we're going to talk about why you are so tired. Women with Drive Summit. Oh my gosh, how many people did you have come out?
Well, I want to give you a little bit of background.
Yes, tell us about it first.
Yeah, it's the Women with Drive, driven by Mobil 1.
Yes, get that sponsor in there. I'm so sorry.
This actually started, remember in 1991 when I created the Summit for the Ladies Professional Golf Association? We're coming out of COVID, and I got a call from Matt Cruz, the president or founder of the Indy 500 there at Music City Grand Prix. He goes, you know, Cindy, it's going to be our first year of our race, and nobody does anything for women. I need you to think out of the box. And so at that time, I had just started an events company called GS Events, focusing on women in automotive, not motorsports. And we were in COVID, so I started a podcast called Women Shifting Gears by Amanda Busick.
Yes,
and it's still up there today. You can still listen to it in a series of virtuals.
Yes.
And those are still up today as well. Well, I married Motorsports Women with Country Music Women, and we did a virtual 4 months leading into the Grand Prix, and then we held our first summit in a honky-tonk bar. Alan Jackson's honky-tonk bar.
Hey, that sounds like fun to me.
And we had 110 people show up on my credit card. And that was, wow, we're on to something.
Yeah.
That's the year that Beth Peretta raced the Indy 500, and that's how women got started as far as a foundation. The next year we held it at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We had 330. Phoenix raced their hand, and we did 450 women last year. And on the stage last year, I said, I want 600 women. And I was sweating. Well, about 2 weeks before the summit, which was the last 2 days, we were at about 500, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to make my number. And lo and behold, we were over 600.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was a multi-day event. And tell people what you do at these events, because once again, you're teaching, you're networking, and you're at the Speedway. So what kind of things did you guys do these past few days?
Yeah, we keep growing every year.
Yeah.
First of all, thanks to Amanda Busick again.
Yes.
She's been our host every single year. But we've grown to panel discussions with just amazing people in the industry. We do breakout sessions with great moderators and panelists. And then this year we did the first ever driver development program where we had 3 tracks led by Lynn St. James, Dr. Jock Delario, Megan Meyer, Georgia Henneberry, and it was specific to drivers, and we included their agents or their parents, which are usually their agents. But we also did a really cool program for all the drivers. We had 44 drivers there.
I saw the picture with all of them in their spider suits in the front.
So if you recall when Taylor Swift was in town,
yes,
Bell Racing did a big campaign with the 11 helmets in hotels around
They
the
were
city.
on the podcast.
I know, Lindsay and Katie, Katie Kyle.
They knocked it out of the park. I'm sorry.
They were so cute. Well, I had met Lindsay Henning, and she was telling me about this program. It was the first time I met her, and I said, well, what are you going to do with those helmets? And she goes, well, we're going to pick a foundation. I said, well, pick me.
Yeah.
And so at the time when she created the promotion, it was a bunch of men drivers, 9 drivers in a poster. And I said, well, why don't we have 9 female drivers?
Absolutely.
So we went out and got Lynn St. James kind of as the lead, Tatiana Calderon, Ashley Freiberg, Sabra Cook, Pippa Mann, a whole amazing list of gals. And we auctioned off, and we made $24,781.
Wow. I have that on my notes here. I'm like, did you see how much they raised?
Well, we have the 12th helmet, which we call number 13. And that is a sweepstakes, not an auction. An auction is the highest bidder wins. A sweepstakes, you could pay $25 and you could be the winner.
Yeah.
So we have that up now. It's going to be in the Bell booth at 1913, Bell booth number 1913, and the helmet is there. The sweepstakes ends this Friday, the 13th, on Taylor Swift's birthday.
Of course.
So we encourage you to come out and make a small donation, and it all goes to Women in Motorsports North America.
Because it's just it's 2 booths down for me, so I know exactly where it's at.
So that has been so successful. Kyle Keitzman and Lindsay Henny came to us and said, what can we do more? So we created a Gear Up with Bell, OMP, and WIMDA program for women drivers, and it's a whole year of gear. OMP uniforms, shoes, Bell helmet, decoration, and we picked 3 young ladies for that scholarship on the stage.
And because something people don't think about too when you come to gear, and that is finding gear for women. It's like lots of them is like men.
Yeah.
Like it's like, no, we have different bodies. We need different stuff. So.
And safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to somebody one time, they didn't even think about it, but fireproof undergarments for women.
Yeah.
It's like you got to find
It's out
that.
there. It's out there.
You just got to work it.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. So you had over 600 people. And I love that you had breakfast at the Brickyard.
Yeah, that was really special. So that's what kicked it off Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. Thanks to Doug Bowles, Allison Melanchthon, who's our honorary chairwoman. She has done so much for us. Sadly, she could not be there. Her mom passed yesterday.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And we miss her very, very dearly. But we got into the room, and there's 400 people. I'm like, that's 400. What are we going to do when we have our 600? And then we did lunch yesterday, and we commingled with RTBC Racetrack Business Conference.
Yes.
And I walk into the ballroom, and there's 800 people.
Wow.
And it was just the spirit and the energy, and it was kind of cute, like a high school dance. You know, 150 men on this side and a lot of women over here, and it was pretty darn cool.
Oh, that is a great experience too. So then as we wrap things up, I always love to watch this, and you have so much knowledge, so this is probably going to be a long answer, but what is your best advice for women getting into motorsports and learning from WIMNA? What would be your best piece of advice for women right now?
Well, one of the things I'm an advocate for is being on LinkedIn. I'm very vocal. I think I have 11 or 12,000 followers right now. And if somebody reaches out to me and they're not on LinkedIn, I don't even respond because they're not taking their role seriously.
Yeah.
When you are on LinkedIn and you connect with me, you now have access to my entire universe. And my universe is very intense.
Yes.
So that would be my first thing. The second thing is we are getting so many women going to our website, signing up. It used to be I would send a personal note to every person. I'm getting so many notes right now, I can't keep up with it. So we do have resources off of our website, whether it's news or job postings. We have resources, everything in the sports.
Yeah.
Go there. What we'll do is add you to our database, and then we do a monthly newsletter that announces different events that we're doing that you can participate in. One resource that I'm very, 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 very proud of is I met a 17-year-old woman at the Formula E race who she was Muslim, and after I met her, she sent me these pictures of all these drawings of women with no faces. And her name's Camellia, and I said, Camellia, how come there's no faces? And she goes, because my culture doesn't allow it. So we came up with a coloring book together, and I submitted amazing images of people like Angela Ashmore and Lena Gade and Amanda, and the list goes on. And she redrew those images with no faces with the goal for young girls to feel like they can draw their faces, they see them in their careers. And
I love that.
Yeah, you can find that on our website, and that I'm just so proud of that.
I would be too, and I love Angela too. She's another person where I'm like, she has taught girls here so much, because the part with you guys, I know a lot about you is because I help out with the Della Penna Foundation. I volunteer with them, and they do amazing things too, and I like that they start young too. And they had some of the girls out there yesterday, and I'm so sorry I couldn't make it out there, because one of my favorites, one of my girls, Shay, she was out there, and Breezy, and I'm like, are you going to be there again? She's like, no. I'm like, okay.
Well, you know, one other thing, because we're local here.
Yeah.
In I was going to say Ireland.
Oh,
but we
I
have
wish.
2 women from the Ireland women in motorsports. But we have an Indiana chapter now, led by Katie Kyle. And
Yes, I met Katie.
So we do a lot with Terry Talbert Hatch, and they're meeting now once a quarter, and we encourage anybody that's in the motorsports in this market to attend. And then we just started a collegiate chapter. So we had our first meeting at Dallara last month. 30 girls showed up. We made it available for Zoom. 10 girls were on Zoom, and a lot of those gals came to the Women Would Drive, driven by Mobil one summer.
Yes. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta get there. I'm like,
Can I make one more point?
You can make as many points as you want.
Okay. Last year at the summit, we had 4 universities and maybe 10 college students. This year we had 52 college students representing 23 universities all across the nation. We even had a woman from Australia, and eight countries were represented, so we're really growing this. 23 states and 8 countries.
That is incredible, because I tell people too, when girls come to me for advice, my big thing in college is like, connect an internship. You cannot do enough internships.
Yeah, and don't always expect to be paid.
No. Trust me, I'm in media. I get it.
Yeah, internships, and another word that's very important in the industry is volunteer. That's an internship. I credit my career 100% to starting out as a volunteer, and I didn't get paid. Yeah. And I think sometimes the younger generation feels they need to get paid.
Oh, yes.
Honey, scrub the floors, whatever it takes.
I did, my first internship was at a TV station, and I had to do 35 hours a week unpaid and go to school at the same time. Yeah. But I'm like, I know this is going to connect me. And so when I went and got a radio internship, they're like, yeah, we're going to pay you minimum. You know, it's not much, but I'm like, but you're paying me? Okay, that's cool. That's what you have to expect in media.
I can eat today.
I know, and the kids are like, how much we pay? I'm like, we're getting you credit where you're learning from us. So.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And tell everybody now where they can find you, your website, social, where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, our website is womeninmotorsportsna.com. Our hashtag is womeninmotorsportsna. Our summit is WWD4.
Easy to remember.
You know, it's so funny because I'm old.
Oh.
You can tell. And I always call it pound, not hashtag.
I know. And then I watch too much. I go hashtag.
Hashtag women in motorsports NA.
Oh, that's easy to remember.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here
Nikki,
today. I
thank
really
you.
appreciate this, and I know you're going to be out networking here for the next couple days. And
Yeah, the other thing to check out, I told you about the Bell booth, but
Yeah.
also MAV TV has the Taylor Swift IndyCar there.
they do.
Yeah, so you can go get photo ops with that as well.
Nice. I got to put on the Reputation helmet.
Oh.
So I'm like, because I had Lindsay in, and I'm like, that's my favorite. Because, you know, people forget about with Taylor, too. She actually sponsored Courtney Force's funny car.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she had the Reputation funny car, which was so cool looking.
Huh.
But she wasn't included. She wasn't a Bell helmet person, so.
Okay, we're going to change that.
We'll work on that next
All right.
time. So thank
Thanks
you so much, Cindy.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you again for listening, and thank you, PRI, once again for having me back to their podcast booth. I'm Nikki Clark, and this is Women Take the Wheel. Be sure to connect and follow on Facebook when you search for Women Take the Wheel podcast. And be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast right now on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Women Take the Wheel with Nikki Clark. Follow and subscribe to this podcast now and discover even more great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Online at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. allindianapodcastnetwork.com.